But lastly, what I want to say, Miko, is to your point about Aiden. I just want to throw in Rodrigo because every defensive play, all I heard was Aiden, Hutchinson, and Rodrigo, like for tackles, and I was like, is that the only people playing defense? And my Spall, who's there in from out of town, Bills fan, shout out Matty Spall. I said, what's your biggest takeaway from the Lions? So like what his star of the game would be is he's like, dude, your defense is unbelievable. And I'm like, that was like a giant question mark coming into the season was our defense. He goes, your defense is so, I mean, your two, like he goes, the two rookies were like, they were amazing. They were everywhere around the ball. So that was from somebody who was like no investment in the Lions. He's a Bills fan. He could care less.
Lives in Buffalo.
Lives in upstate New York, and yeah, he could care, but he was like, your defense. I mean, your offense is great, but he was your defense. And that was interesting. I thought I would share that with you guys.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good transition though into like the next topic though, which is like, I mean, again, the defense showed up, but it's like with keeping that in mind, and as we try to transition into the Lions matchup this week against the Minnesota Vikings, I mean, what do the Lions have to do in order to beat the Vikings this week? What is the number one thing on your list that like you need to see this team do?
Put Cousins on his back. He's got it. Like Cousins has to have the fear of God, which I mean, yeah, which Cousins already always has the fear of God in his heart, but it seems like he needs to fear Okwara, Hutchinson, and Harris. I mean, we saw that, like he's throwing ducks. And like, I don't want to give Justin Jefferson the opportunity to beat us because he's going to. We saw like Terry McLaurin was beating us. Jahan Dotson was beating us. Justin Jefferson is going to destroy us. So don't even give him that chance. Put Kirk Cousins on the turf. Do what you did the first half, and this game is winnable. Because I don't think it really doesn't seem like Dalvin Cook is. Maybe he had a bad game, but I mean he's still pretty. I mean he's still Cook, but it really seems like this is not the Dalvin Cook of 2-3 years ago.
I mean, yeah. I mean, speaking of Dalvin Cook, right? So through 2 games, he has 107 total yards.
Yeah,
rushing. Like, granted, so 90 against Green Bay, and then only 17 against the Eagles. I was gonna say, like, in that case, like looking at that, like that's what I believe has to be the recipe. Like, you have to make this team one-dimensional, and I feel like it starts with stopping the run. They've done it. They did it against the Commanders where they were limiting the effectiveness of Antonio Gibson, of J.D. McKissick.
Yeah.
And once you start doing that, then the only alternative, like you're saying, Gian, is that like, well, then Cousins now has to drop back and pass. And he's not mobile. And so if you know where he's going to be and you can just keep collapsing the pocket, if you can send an extra linebacker on a blitz here and there, then maybe you can put that fear of God in him where he's seeing ghost or he's just getting touched a few too many times. And then you start to have a chance defensively to contain that offense. But I do think it actually has to, like, they have to be focused on containing Dalvin Cook. Because if he gets going, then you open up the door of play action pass. And if we're already having communication issues on the back end, do you really want to like have that secondary deal with play action pass and hoping that nobody's biting on the run?
Yeah. I don't. No, thank you.
I definitely don't. I'll pass.
It's like when a waiter asks me if I want pepper on my salad. No, thank you.
Wait, you don't like pepper on your salad? What's wrong with you?
No, I don't actually.
It's actually really good.
It's underrated. Really good. With Miko on that, it is good.
Scotty, what do you got? What do the Lions have to do in this game?
All right, so mine, 2-part answer. First part is I want to talk a little bit about the Eagles versus Vikings game and how the Eagles did stop Cook, right? They did stop that part of the game, and they did not stop that against us, correct? Against the Lions, right?
Correct.
We ran it pretty well against them.
Very good. Yeah, great point. Yeah.
Correct. So what they did is, what's up? We did all right.
We did all right. 140 yards from DeAndre Swift, like nothing major.
144, sir.
Yeah.
So
Chump change.
so
Yeah.
and again, what I'm you'll see what I'm getting at in a second here. So that was away, and then they went home, they locked it up, no running, they got after Kirk Cousins, right? And then they were able to shut down. I mean, Slay shut it down. Like, let's be honest, Slay had a game. He had a
Yeah.
game. He had 2 picks. Like, he was at home living his best life, and good for him. And that moment, I'm like, why do we not have him? Like, what, like.
We all know
Anyway.
the answer.
Yeah, no, I know, but that's just
Grimace in human
kind of-
form. That's what.
Yeah, that was tough to watch him. I'm like, he was on our team. So anyway, having said that, right? So then think about too, the Vikings, beat up the Packers, did their thing, tried to do the same thing at the Eagles. That did not happen, right? So now I did not want this. I did not want Vikings to get. I was hoping it'd be close and like, okay, like something like that, not get destroyed, because they're going to be upset. They're going to go back to the drawing board, and they're really going to try hard this weekend. Not that they wouldn't, but this is really going to be a circled game. Like this is a must win for the Vikings, right? If you think about, if I'm a Vikings fan, I'm like, oh, we got to beat the Lions. Like, oh, they're really not that good, whatever. And so this is circled, and it's also a home game. It's also our first away game. Right. So that's also a concern for me. Thankfully, I talked to Miko. I thought they were still outdoors there in the stadium. So that's good. So it's still on turf, and that we should travel well enough for the turf. So that's a good thing. So, but the Lions must get pressure on Kirk Cousins. Stop the run, pressure on Kirk Cousins. He's not mobile, and we got to get after him. I mean, that's it. Because if Kirk, again, to all of our points, I'm the same thing. We have to be able to do that. And on top of that, we have to, on our offense, we have to score touchdowns. We got to score probably 30 points again. We have to get there. Like we have to give ourselves some buffer. They're going to come back. Adam Thielen is like 100 years old, but he still can do some stuff. I mean, like, I think that you really do have to get after Kirk. If you can, yes, you will see goes. He'll throw it into coverage. We can get, another pick. I mean, goodness gracious. They're picking 2 games in a row.